Hello, everyone. Welcome to sunsetpeony.com on YouTube. And I'm so glad that you guys are here with me. And I will explain the whole thing. We are having a very playful, but with a lot of technique here, using some Chinese ink, but you can also just use black, okay? Because the reason why is I love the vibrancy of the Chinese ink, and so I did this bird, and then I went on to this bird, and so this is very nice, right? Because the Chinese ink, dry faster, and anyway, so that was one bonus. It's just because I'm going to use more Chinese ink to mix in with my painting this year. And so this is just right after Christmas. And so I'm hoping to upload this in a couple of days. I have taken a week and a half break. And so like what we did today, and I'm so excited. I told you in the end of this painting, when I was painting along with you, I miss you guys. And I had a very good feeling that I'm talking to and painting with a lot of just really nice and kind people, and so I can't wait to get back to it. And I didn't want to let go of winter yet, because it's still, we're not even in the new year. So I decided to do some penguin, and I have exported these African penguin from Africa to Antarctica. And so I thought we can do that because we're artists, right? And so we have exported these two, because the reason why is because I like the way their body and the color distribution and how playful these penguins are. I had painted a little, I don't have it right next to me. I may show you later. I had painted a little two baby penguin, and I sold a bunch of them for Christmas card. And so I decided to do this one, because I think they are, I just like them. And so I just did it. And thank you for allowing me to do that. And so we talk about a lot about in this painting that why I have went through some of the statistic, and I love flowers. We're gonna have tons of flowers, okay, that we can paint along. But there is something important about painting animals, okay? And so listen to the whole tutorial, and I will explain that a lot, and then we will do that because animals help us. It really help us in our skill. And painting flower help us too, but it's not as intense, and you will know why, and I will talk to you about that. And so and also I wanted to do more drawing, but we will see, okay, because I felt like I need to have a picture or image of some kind so that I can point out to you why I draw things a certain way. But we will see, I will have to work on that, and I also talk about this. So this is a really fun technique painting, and so we will have fun together. And I really encourage you, just have fun, take your time, be careful with the line and the shape, okay? And so we have fun in this one, and more is to come. And so I'm going to sign this, and okay, these are should I sign it on the next to the penguin? I think so, instead of on top of the ice. Okay, and I show you guys how to do some ice as background, an iceberg or whatever they call this that they're standing on. It's just fun. And so I hope you guys will paint along with me. And if you have Chinese ink, if you don't, I will show you. I didn't show you in the painting. I just used this one. I got a long time ago from the Oriental Art Supply. You can go and get that, or you can get it from Amazon at different places. It's easy to get those things. And we talk about shadow, we talk about forms, and it's really fun. And so I think, go to my blog, sunsetpeony.com, to get a drawing of this if you feel like you needed to. But if you feel like you want to do different composition or different shape, you can do that too. I encourage you to do that. Because this is totally my design. I actually had turned the head. I had a picture of this penguin. The penguin's head was looking this way, and I turned him looking this way. And so, I do things like that because it's a challenge to me, and I know that I need to continue challenging myself. But if you guys wanted to, follow it just the way it is, it will be over there, and I will do the blog post and just talk about nothing. Probably talk about Christmas in the blog post, and then And you can do that, and be sure to subscribe to me, okay? And if you want to say hi, you can say hi in the comment. You can say hi in the comment on my blog. I would love to hear from you, and you will know why I keep encouraging you guys to do that. But subscribing to me is my only way that I know how are you guys accepting the things that I do here. And so it is an important way for me to know, and I love that. And so anyway, okay, I think I'm gonna stop talking and we'll start painting. Okay, let's get started and see how this goes. Okay, now we will have a lot to talk about, and the color that I'm using this time is the Chinese ink. But if you have any black watercolor, that will be fine too. The reason why I use, and then I'm using this number 2 Jackson. Any synthetic brush that is kind of smallish, compared to like my thumb, right? This is very, very small. It's a number 2. Okay, you can just get any synthetic brush that you have, and because I am going to use a little bit of a smaller one to do the beak of this. Let's go through with this penguin first, okay? Now, with one of the reason why I like the Chinese black ink is because that so I'm trying to explain to you if so that you will know if it is something that you would that will be something that you would like to use too, or you just can use some traditional Chinese black color. Okay, I mean traditional watercolor black. Okay, reason why I like the Chinese ink is because after I'm done with this one, I just have to give it a minute and it will be totally set, because it is ink. Okay, I'm leaving this area a little bit of white color there. Okay, so that to just let it let some of the lights from the sun or the highlight come in here, so it's not just like pitch black over here. Okay, now I'm going to the tip of the beak, and ever so slightly I need to be careful about leaving some white at different area. Okay, and so when this color is dry permanently, and you would not be able to move it, and I always tend to like things that are like that. The reason is because now I'm going to paint this I'll talk about this is actually African penguin. Okay, I will actually talk to you a little bit about that, and so that you would you will know what I did. Well, actually, I think I will talk about it in the intro too, so you know what I did. But if I would, so I usually film the painting part first, and then I go to the intro. Now, you see that I leave a sliver of a white over there, okay? That's just my design. I like to do that, It gives the area a little bit of interest, and also it could be that it could be there because logically, because the penguin, different part of his beak will actually you can see the the different reflection of the light, right? And so when you have your own picture, or if you're following me, then you know that what we could do, okay, to give the penguin a little bit of of a variation, instead of just a totally black area that's right in front of you. Now you see that I just go in and change brush. I don't know if you see a minute ago, I my hand told me that, oh, okay, the little brush is good for the beak, because you can do things like a little bit of detail. But when you come to a little bit of a bigger area, then you would want to change brush if it makes things easier for you. Okay, now the whole face is still in a kind of like a wet state. It's not totally dry yet. Okay, so what I'm going to do, go back to my number 2, and this is a clean brush. I'm going to come in here and lift some of the black color out. And why am I doing that? Because I'm giving little penguin here a cheek. Now I don't think that I'm going to do much of lifting except this cheek area today, okay? So you would not have to worry about it for this painting today. This will be the only time, okay? So it will, you can see that there's some of the color coming out. Why is it that I'm doing that? Because, if an animal has a cheek, then it usually will be roundish and it will reflect the sunlight on it. It would a little bit better, okay? So it'll be a little bit lighter. And so we're using that technique to help us to, indicate the form of the animal, okay? Because this is a round face, it's not a flat piece of circle, and we always need to, that's just the rule of nature, right? Nature is like that. And so the whole head is just an egg, right? An egg shape. So as an artist, it will be more truthful and people will look at it and it will be more, I would say, what do you call that? More pleasing to your eye, okay? And so your eye will be saying, that, okay, I accepted that, okay? Now, and so if you wanted to use black ink like me, then you have to work a little bit faster, okay? Now you can see that there's more white because I'm going in there a little bit more aggressive than I would so that you would be able to see that. And another thing that I wanted to remind you is that now I'm dipping in some ink again because as the middle part is white, I want this part to be dark, okay? So I'm just coming in here and darken that just a little bit, okay? Darken that just a little bit. And when that is darker, this area will look lighter, okay? Now, I know that it is very, very hard for you to be able to see what I'm doing, but because of the nature of my camcorder, okay? I like it, but it is, now, I'm going to, let's just use the smaller one. Now, I'm going to the back of the head a little bit, okay? And because this part is like closer to the sun, so I want this black to be a little bit lighter now. And so this is one of when I'm painting, and I like to I really like to hold on to winter and stuff a little bit more. I decide to paint this, and so I say, painting penguin is a good time for people to learn about black, okay? So black is not all black, right? You dilute black and you get a true gray. And so today we will have a lot of chance to practice that, to use the true gray. And so because this part of the cheek really is a gray color, I hope you can see that. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit better. Yeah, that might be a little bit better, okay? You can see that there's a variegation of color now, right? And so I want this to be gray, and I want this to be gray because, then I can make sure that the shape and the form, you can see that this is an egg shape, okay? Not a flat piece of black color, okay? And so you can just go in and practice that. And now I'm just gonna lightly find some pink color in my palette, like a flashy pink color, because I'm going to use that just a little bit. Okay, put that right there. Okay, because that's what I see, right? That's what I see. I'm not looking at this penguin in person. This is actually an African penguin. But I know that there is some pink color there, and I don't want that to, without doing that, okay? Now, over here, there's a little bit of shadow. And so what I just did is I go in the Payne's Gray, okay? And put a little bit of shadow there, okay? Now, let's go do, there's like a couple of important parts. Let's go on to this arm right here. Yeah, let's do that, okay? And so I'm coming back into this, and I'm going to push you backward a little bit, so that you can see me painting the arm, part one of the arm of this penguin, okay? So I'm going to clean out this brush. This is my float brush, okay? I talk about all of my product, and you can see that in my product, list on my blog if you wanted to go and purchase these things, okay? These paintbrush, I like these paintbrush because I'm used to them. Like I always talk about, and I will try to make a product, talk about product. I don't do that kind of thing because I'm just so excited about getting into the painting. And so And I also am very wary that, you know, I don't like to tell people to buy a lot of things. You know, I want them to use the good brush. But if you don't have a good brush, then you can buy these. These are Chinese brush, and they are absolutely fun for me because, you know, well, that's how I learn, right? With my Chinese printing, and I don't, I'm so used to them. I actually have all the, you know, I'll tell you what kind of brushes I have eventually one day when I do the product, okay? Now you can see that I'm leaving some white over there, and then what am I doing? Actually, I need to put some burnt sienna in there. Now, but as we always do, you know about watercolor now. It is wet over there, so we're gonna leave it alone, okay? We're just go on to his next arm, okay? Now, where his arm is coming out, I know that this is not, it is by experience, okay? This is not in the picture of this African penguin that I'm looking at, but I like to put little lines here. You know, it suggests the kind of muscle, you know, because I know how animal works, right? And so it suggests the kind of muscle. It usually will have some kind of fold over here where it's the joint and the muscle of the joint. Like, see, you know, my arm, there's a little bit of a line over here, right? And so that's what I'm doing, you know, so that as an artist, I can choose. At this point, I like to portray that for my people that are looking at my painting, okay? Now, this is the top part. This is the bottom part of the arm, of the wings, I guess. Why do I call it his arm? That is his wings. Thank you for putting up with my rambling, okay? And so on his arm, I know that on his wings, I know that they are white because that's the characteristic of this winter penguin, right? This African penguin. And so I'm going to, you know, go and leave that because every penguin is different. Okay, it's like you know, a spot of a doggy, right, or some ducky. You know, it is you know, it's the genetic and their chance. So because of that, then the artist, meaning us, have a chance to have a break. Okay, now, but it doesn't go for everything. Something they are all monotonous, you know, and so you have to do that, but not in this case with the penguin. Okay, and I'm going to use part of the line, you know, and just you know, what I'm following is my practice, you know, because I will look at pictures, okay, and then I will go on and do my practice, and then when I'm happy, you know, with what I do, then I will follow my practice, okay. And so the black is done over here on the arm, on the wing, and so we're just gonna let it rest for a minute and let it dry, okay? Now we're gonna do, there's an arch, like this African penguin. There's an arch, and then I'm going to talk about this a little bit while I'm painting with you, okay? You know, so what I wanted to encourage you this year, you know, is to paint more animals. I know all of you like to paint flowers, and so do I, okay? Flowers, in a way, it is easier for us. Now, but animal is a little bit of a challenge and also a good learning experience because, you know, with animal, if you are not careful with following along, you know, with the line and the form and the shape of the line, okay, then you will very, very soon notice that there's something wrong with the animal that you're painting. Now, like for example, right here, okay, I'm trying to do an arch over here, but this a penguin is 3/4 of a way turn, okay, so I can't do the arch over here like that, right, because that will be what he will look like when he's facing us. But I'm going to follow, you know, I'm going to follow what he's turning. So this part will be a smaller part, and then you have a bigger part over here, okay? Like so. Do not bring this like it's an arch from the middle that you're seeing it right from the front. Now, if we don't pay attention to that, then we will still have a good painting and we'll still be happy with what we painted. But then you will know very, very fast that you could see that there's something, you know, that's just not right, okay? And so, you know, I wanted to challenge you this year. You need to try to do more drawing so that you will be able to, because with drawing you don't have to deal with the color, and so you have the the mind to just like pay more attention to the shape and the direction of the characteristic of an animal, okay? Because animal will help us, because it is because like to be honest, right, we look at animal all the time, like the way we look at human being, okay? We look at them all the time, okay? You can butt that against the arm, okay? That is just fine. But the color right against the arm. An animal, because if you look at a human and you've seen enough painting that, if somebody is a little bit off, because human, that was one of the discussion my husband and I had, you look at humans so much that if there's something wrong, like the eye is not placing in the right place, you will quickly be able to tell. As a person, you don't need to know art. You'll be able to tell, oh, there's something wrong with that painting, with that human. And because now you can see that, right? So this is like the best way that I can. You can see that this penguin is not facing you straight forward, okay? It has a little bit, I can actually make this a little bit thinner on the side too, which I did on my practice. But that's okay because I'm talking to you, and trying to do things at the same time. And so, talking about human, you cannot, because you're, a human like this penguin, I'm using a penguin that about 100 times at least, and shrink that into a little painting, right? And so, if the line are not right and the shapes are not right, you'll be able to tell. And then it will look a little bit odd or a little bit weird, okay? And so, that's a good practice for us because, now this is going to be just a sliver of an line, right? Because it's coming out from the back. And so you will do the same thing. You also need to pay attention, okay? And so as we challenge ourselves to do more animals, because with flower, you can hardly tell. Okay, that's one thing with flower. You can flower give you and me a lot of leeway because you can hardly tell what you if you miss it or if you're but I'm telling you, sometimes even with flower you can make we can make as big of a distortion that the flower will look weird. Okay, and so try to follow some of my, because I have statistics. I can see what you guys are doing. Not particularly, there's no name. Of course, there's no name. I don't know who, but I know that a lot of people like to paint flower, and that's fine, because flower are indeed very, very pretty flowers. But I would like to encourage you to do more animals, because animals will discipline us. Okay, it really will. It will teach us to be more of a correct artist. Okay, and so our painting will be more pleasing to the eye, and look a lot less what do you call that, a lot less amateurish. Now that will be, now what I'm going to do is I'm going into the Payne's Gray, because Payne's Gray has a little bit of blue, and I'm going to use a royal blue today to put a little bit in the Payne's Gray. And what is this I'm doing? This is his muscle, the muscle of this penguin, okay? And so I'm going to drop some Payne's Gray here, because the muscle here is round, right? So I remember in my head, and I say, hey, I can't just like not paint a shadow here. I'm using the shadow to make you look at this area, and you say, oh, Kathy, I know what you're painting. You're painting that muscle that supported the wings, okay? Because penguin, not the wing, the tail wing, okay? Because penguin, now I can tell that I need a little bit more of the black over here, okay? And just let the muscle, be right there, okay? And so I'm using this shadow right here so that you can see that it's that big. He has a big, well, every penguin has a big one that support the back, this back, okay? This one doesn't have a back because I think the tail is like flip out, so we don't have to worry about that one, okay? But for this one, we need to paint the back. All right, and so his body has a little bit of dots here and there, and we don't, I need to paint that right now, because then I would, and so these you don't have to worry about too much. It is the genetic, characteristic, and everyone is different, okay? I'm going to pull this down a little bit, where the dots show up, that's what I mean. It's different, so I can just like dot it here and there. and some dot over here, and it can be lighter color because, you know, it's mixed in together with the feather. That's the best way that I can describe it. Okay, now so let's go paint the shadow. Okay, and now we're going with the Payne's gray mixed with a little bit of royal blue, and because from here there's a muscle right here. Okay, and I'm going to use the Payne's gray to let you see that, and then by doing so you will see that the neck is a colander. Okay, it's a tube instead of a rectangle, I guess. Now you can see that, right? Suddenly the tube of the neck is beginning to form because I just paint in the shadow, and you needed to do that, okay? Because that is another advantage of doing animals, because we will be doing fairies, right? When I guess when I feel like you guys are all totally ready, you know, in the near future, but it all depends on how. Now over here we don't need to put anything because that's the sun, so there won't be any shadow created, but we need to do shadow right here because the whole body is like also an egg shape. Okay, so we don't want to miss that. We don't want people to look and see and say, oh, it's a rectangle. No, it's not a rectangle. It's an egg, and so we're gonna put shadow right along here. Okay, and so you can go to the edge. I used to really have a problem with painting shadow, because I said, oh, I don't want to it's not part of the penguin, right? I don't want to ruin it. I work so hard to paint, but we get over that quickly because it is totally necessary. Okay, to have a shadow. There, because you just really, it is it is our job, to make sure that people can see the form of an animal. And you say, oh, but it's not as white as I wanted it to be. Now, it's okay. If we paint a face has a lot of, planes, right? Like your nose is actually a pyramid and things like that. And we need to, do all that, okay? And I like to drop a little bit of yellow ochre because that's what I see. That's what I see, okay? And so I think it's probably a reflection of the sun, okay? And then let's go to both of his feet, okay? Now the penguin's feet are very, very thick, right, and big. You can observe that. The reason why is because it's, like little birdies too. I go to the, when I go hiking, I see a lot of chickadee actually in this area, the mountain here a lot. Actually, chickadee is around our houses. I don't have to. I can go outside my backyard and observe them, and you will always know that their feet actually are kind of widespread and they're quite big because the reason is they need to support the body. Okay, I'm gonna just do that like that and then pull it out with the water so there's some variation. It's the same thing as the form. It's the form of a, you don't really always ever want to just paint something flat, okay? Now, with the penguin, because its leg is so big, you can hardly see the other side. But for us to, kind of have a idea, I'm just gonna barely put a light gray on there, okay? So you can see that. But you can hardly see that. You really cannot see it. But I think, being an artist, I'm going to put a little bit of gray color over there, okay? Being an artist, you need to do things like that so that you don't look at the penguin and say there's only 2 toes of the feet, okay? But because there are more than 2 toes, of course, okay? And then the other side is actually push a little bit backward so the black parts start over here, okay? Okay, so it's a little bit higher, that's what I mean, okay? Now, before, I need to come back here quickly because before it's dry, I wanted to put some brown in there. Now, that's just a design, that is not doing the form, okay? The form is when we do lighter and dark, when you put the different color, it's just the design, because I kind of wanted his feet to be not the webbed feet to be not as just dark as one color, okay? Okay, and so I put a little bit of brown. You know, I think with you, you can hardly see that. But just like what I say earlier, you know, now I'm going to like use some diluted ink and just kind of suggest the other side, okay? Like what I say, you guys turn the brightness of your of your computer or your phone or your tablet to highest you can stand. Okay, why do I say that? Because okay, now what I can see is the shadow here. I want this to be a little bit of a stricter line. Yeah, see, I'm correcting my drawing that I did earlier. I don't know that why I have a drawing that you know, had that you know, because sometimes when you draw and you're thinking about other things, like you don't think about, you know, and then I want this to go all the way over here, and so I'm adding some black line over here. Okay, that's part of the body of the penguin. Okay, so it look more roundish over here now. Okay, you see that? Isn't that cute? Isn't he cute? Can I say that he's cute? I think he's kind of cute. I like him. And drawing, you know, and also I noticed that, you know, when I go look at the statistic that, you know, I know you guys doesn't watch the drawing as much, but I also encourage you to break that habit and try to do so, okay? Because as you draw more, okay, I'm going to fix the shadow over here a little bit, just make it a little bit more prominent, okay? As you draw more, then you will, let's go on to him, okay? Then you will be able to, because as you draw, without the distraction of the color, even though there's black and white, there's still a distraction of color, right? You'll be able to pay more attention to the form and the shape, and that's very, very important for to be, you know, more accurate. Okay. Now, of course, you know, it is a personal decision, and but you know, I don't know how to you know, you know, I don't sugarcoat things. You know, I just really you know, want you guys to, as you learn about watercolor with me, I also want you guys to improve in your drawing, because that's naturally that should be very, very good for us. Okay, and so I really want to encourage this year to take the time to go out and draw, and I will tell you, I will try my best to do more drawing, but so that you guys will know what you need to think and how to draw, and so that's just a practice. Like keep a sketchbook. Okay, a drawing sketchbook. No, a watercolor sketchbook is hard because watercolor is kind of, now I'm leaving the white to put burnt sienna on it. Okay, so if I forgot to put burnt sienna, you guys need to remember to do it yourself. Okay, because sometimes I forget things. Isn't that funny? Well, I guess maybe it's not too funny, but it's funny to me, you know. And anyway, so if I forget, and because I'm thinking about teaching and talking, then you guys will do it. Okay, now you guys come from all walks of life. I don't really, you know, some of you come forward and introduce yourself to me. Some of you have artist experience, and you find that coming here is helpful, and I'm very, very grateful that you actually feel that way. And you know, we all know how it is to work hard, right? In every discipline, you know, if you're a singer, a retired architect, all kinds of retire, you know, where you come from, right? Now, the burnt sienna only go on the underside, okay? So this one we don't put burnt sienna. This one we don't put burnt sienna there, okay? Just wanted to point out in case I forget, right? But you guys know that I forget things a lot. I just turn around and you guys know I forget things, and sometimes I'll just leave and say, oh, okay, I think the painting is done. And then, hey, but Kathy, you say you're going to put burnt sienna there, right? Thank you for putting up with me. You know, I think I'm doing quite well in trying to remember to do everything, you know, but sometimes I don't. You know, and I was just talking, you guys come from all walks of life. I miss you. Like I take a week and a half of breaks during the holiday, and I miss painting here with you, because I just because I miss you, I realized that there's a very good vibes coming from this channel for me, because I know that that's, I always pay very, very attention to how I feel about things. Okay, now I diluted that to be a light gray because I know that the sun would come down over there. Okay, now I'm going to leave a sliver of a white there. Okay, just to indicate to you. Now this is the bottom side, so I don't need to leave white over here. Okay, the bottom side is darker, and then we need to be very, very careful when we come to the beak of the shape, because like what I was explaining earlier, if we are not careful, then our animal will look a little bit weird. Okay, and we don't want to, and so we will try our very best to do what is good for our penguin. Okay, now there's I can see that there's a little bit of pink down the bottom, so I'm leaving those white there, and then I'll come and put a little bit pink. What I'm doing is just being true to the penguin characteristic. Okay, now of course, like I say earlier, I don't get to see, this is from my years of experience of drawing. Okay, I just realized that the line that I had put there is a little, make his neck a little too long. Okay, so I just erase that. Okay, and so that's what drawing have the experience for you, because you're used to the form and the shape, and so you're just like, okay, I don't want it there because it is wrong. Okay, and then I want a straight line almost over here. Okay, almost over here. And what is that doing? That's like giving the viewer a direction, okay, of how I turn the penguins. Now this penguin right here, I actually had to design him myself. This penguin, I can follow a picture of someone, okay? But this one was harder. You know why? Because I turned his head. His head was facing the other way. But to make the composition better, I have to turn his head facing this way. And so, because of my experience, I was able to do so. So, and so this make this painting very original, right? Because it is done by me, okay? And so right here, there's just nothing. There's the part of the part is white, so I'm just gonna leave that white, because I also know that it's facing the sun. I'm trying to get the pencil mark even lighter. Okay, so what I'm going to do to close that side up to make it still look like the form is I will use the background. Okay, I always do that. You guys know that, right? I will use the background. Okay, but I know that I can see that, I can observe that there's the paint, there's no paint on it. There should be a little line, and so I'm going to do a little gray line right here. Okay, a gray. When I say gray, what gray this is? If I don't say Pinck's gray, that means I am actually diluting the ink and making it gray. Okay, as for this painting anyway. Okay, and so like what I'm looking is that correct position? Absolutely not. Okay, and so I'm going to get that down a little bit. Okay, and you see what I'm gonna do. Okay, don't worry. I'm using this as actually this is a Jack Richardson. It's actually the finest pure Kolinsky. See, I have these brushes too, but through the years, you know why I use the Chinese one? Because I like the pointiness of it, and just make me feel like I can do things better, and so I do that. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to, with my design, use a little bit of gray and come down here. Okay, just a little sliver. And what that do is I wanted, as an artist, to suggest you to follow the line of the penguin. Okay, isn't that fun? We can make decision like that as we go. Now this is the same way as over here, right? Remember I was talking about the penguin is not facing you directly. Okay, so if the body has a line over here, this line is very, very thin. Okay, so that if you make this thick and you make it look like this, then the penguin, this part of the body is facing you, but the head is going that way. Okay, and that will make it a little bit strange. And so as I'm sharing my watercolor technique with you, I also want not just that simple. I am also trying to help you to be a better artist, and so I wanted to point those things out for you, okay? Because you can, like, there is a mussel over here. Let's talk about mussel in a minute, okay? There's a mussel over here, and I'm going to have to paint that. So I'm drawing that mussel, which I didn't in the beginning, but it will be in a drawing, and you can find it, and there is a mussel over here also, okay? And so I'm putting two little line over there to remind me, Kathy, don't forget about the mussel of the penguin, okay? Now, we're not coming down here yet. I wanted to finish this, the character of the African penguin. Like I said, okay, let's talk about this part. So many things to talk about. Now, the reason why I put the African penguin in the North Pole or the Antarctic, is because I like this African penguin. I really like their characteristic and of their body, okay? Now, so what I did is I make an artist decision. I removed the African penguin from Africa and put that in the cold area, so that I can have a really fun and playful penguin, with you instead of the king penguin. Okay, and so that's something I did for this painting. And I hope you guys like my decision, because it is just something that when I decided to do that, I kind of giggle a little bit. I say, I'm the artist. I can move the penguin. They'll be okay, Probably won't be able to stand the cold, but they. Before I did that, I actually went and read up on the penguin, and they say that the African penguin are always around water, right? Now, do you see that? It's not like just an arch shape. It's the arch shape being turned a little bit, okay? The penguin actually cool themselves down. Penguin actually like cold. Their blood, like to be cold. And so in Africa, they actually live around the water so they can cool themselves down in the water. Okay, so that's what I read in the Wikipedia or somewhere. Okay, so they don't mind living where they live, but they had to, go into the water all the time to make themselves happy and colder and cooler. Okay, so now since I moved them all the way to Antarctica, and whatever this place is, I'm going to do some ice with you guys too in a minute. I'm now using the characteristic of the feather to show you. Now that's just a slit, okay? Don't do this part too thick, okay? That's one of my goals. I set goal for myself and say, how can I help the people that paint with me paint better? And that's one of my goals. Is I'm going to point out at different time my decision, and so that you can understand as you're painting along with me, and not just kind of gloss over that without understanding what Kathy is doing and why I do certain things, okay? And so this year I'm just trying to point out that, just remember, all these things, that flowers, or we're painting animals, I don't think this year I will go into fairies and human like that, because I just, well, I will see, how you guys do, and then we will. Now I'm going to clean brush, okay? Pulling this out. Why? The form again, okay? So not a strict color, but there's a lighter color coming into the darker color, okay? The form again. Okay? And then I'm going to put a little bit of burnt umber in there, okay? Just to make it so that it's more colorful in a different way. Of course, most of you would not consider black and brown colorful, but me as an artist, it is colorful to me, and so I'm doing the same thing, okay? Over here, the form, okay? And so I'm you look like I'm kind of lining it up, but I'm not, And this, do you know that as they move, this just me. When I'm trying to paint something, I like to, now I'm going into the lighter, you can see, right? The water, and make it lighter. Okay, I want to close this little white over here, because their feet is actually a very, very solid thing and big thing. And they actually turn their toes inward. Like if this is both of your feet, they go like this. and so that's why it's waddling. And but I think to them that's supposed to be, now this is a little bit of Payne's gray in here, okay, and I'm just gonna drop it into the wet part. Okay, don't worry about it. Drop that little Payne's gray and the wet part right here and right here. Okay, so I will point out. Okay, now I'm going to, at this point I'm going to work on the neck. Okay, the the same. Okay, the form. Okay, you need to do the form. You need to make sure that this is not a triangle. Okay, I'm doing in the neck. Ooh, a little hair just fall off. You know, these brushes are just so good. They don't fall off very much. I guess the, whoever the artists that make these brushes, they put enough glue in there to make sure that it's gonna stay. I abuse this brush. I have to tell you, this one that I've used, it's been 20 years or more. Still using it. I could go buy another one. I don't see the need to, so I just keep using it. Like I told you earlier, right? I don't like to suggest you guys to go buy things because we want to spend our time and our mind and our energy into painting, not thinking about what to buy, right? And so now, along with this shadow, there's some over here. Okay, now what does that do? And that will make this look like a big round body instead of a big oval. Is a egg. Okay, and so here I am putting some of the shadow over there. Okay, but what I forgot is to put the dot. I think I'll take the moment and you see the shadow that I just put over there. Okay, it is very, very important. Not because I can skip it or take it or leave it, but it is because it is good to do those things and it make our painting a little bit longer. But I promise you, it is better. Okay, now what am I doing over here is just the character of the bird. I guess we can call it the bird of the penguin. Okay, it's just his dots that just like these guys, right? Now, but I think that is too dark, so I'm gonna use a clean brush and just kind of make it a little bit softer, make it a gray instead of black. Okay, I know that's hard for you to see, but I want it gray, I don't want it black. And so let's do this muscle over here. Okay, this muscle is a round muscle right above his leg. Okay, so you and I know how to do oval muscle or an egg muscle. We just do this. Okay, we put the darker color. I always use gray color, but sometimes I mix a little blue over there. Okay, and that will just make this part look oval. Okay, right away. Okay, and so you get it, and you will as you remember to always do that. It's just really cute because then the penguin is not like a flat penguin. They actually look fat. I'm like once again putting the highlight with a little bit of yellow ochre, okay, because that's what I see. Okay, let's go over here and make this muscle a little bit muscly, okay? Muscly. So fun. Okay, same thing, okay? I'm making it, putting some shadow over there, soften the edge of the shadow, and there it goes. There it is, okay? Now, I'm going to let this area dry a little bit and come back and do a little bit more shadow. Okay, so this is the part where, remember Kathy promised you, I'm doing, I promised you I need to put burnt sienna in here, and so that's what I'm going to do, okay? I can see that in the picture because I'm not in Africa. I've never seen the African one. Probably they have it in the zoo here, like in San Diego, right? And I'm going to put that burnt sienna over here, okay? And then, but what I see, because I can't be there in the picture, I believe that that is the correct color. And, I hope that you can see that with your screen. If you turn up the color bright, just try to do that, okay? Now we can go in here and do the shadow because it is just kind of pretty. It's very pretty. As I'm sitting here looking at the color, okay? The same thing, a little bit of shadow over there, okay? And so now I'm going to drop a little bit more, just a little tag of blue, okay? And so his chest right here is in the sun. Or, because you can tell this penguin is sticking his chest out, right? They always do that. And so I'm going to leave the integrity of this light and come down here and do the shadow, okay? And come down and shadow it. And strict way you can tell, I bring out the chest, okay? Because I push this back with the gray color, right? And so you can see the chest right away. Okay, can't you? So the little penguin has a little chest stick out. Just like on this side, right? There's a little bit of a chest stick out over here. Not as much as this guy, though, because of the shape that he is, the way that he is bending. And when you do a lot of drawing, you will get to notice it. Now, this year, Mr. Winnie the Pooh, by Ernest Shepard, is we can use some of his drawing to show you guys things. So I might do that when I do a drawing, tutorial. Okay. Now I also need a little bit of pink. You can just use whatever pink color, drop it over here. Okay. Because this bird has that, right? So we're gonna do the same thing right around his eye. It seems like there's some pink over there. And I'm going to put burnt sienna, the same thing, over here, okay? But like what I say, I'm not going to... Ooh, wow, I just dropped, by accident, a big drop of water over here. But because the ink is the Chinese ink, right? So it has dried. And so nothing happened. I just wanted you to know. These kind of things happen. And it's kind of fun for me to show you. Because now, what I'm going to do is... use that royal blue, that Holbein royal blue that I tell you guys there's a story, right? I told you about, like, somebody give this to me extra, it's just an Amazon seller, but I think they have extra and they decide not to hold on to it anymore. And so what I'm going to do is, you don't want the penguin to be floating in midair, okay? So I'm going to come down here and just suggestion of a shadow. Okay, and the shadow go all the way over here, okay? Alright, and that, suddenly, you know what you do? Now, why do I use blue? Because guess what? I'm going to show you guys in a second. I am going to paint just a little bit of an iceberg, or whatever you call the ice that they're sitting in, okay? And so, make it look cold, okay? So that's why I put more blue in this shadow. Because the eyes are very, very bright, right? But do you see how suddenly Mr. Penguin is anchored to the floor, okay? Like this one is floating, right? This one is a little bit pushed further back than the one in the front because that's just nature. They don't always standing right next to each other, right? And now we want you to see that this feet is floating, so the shadow is down here. Now this feet is on the ground, so that's why it's touching. Okay, so that's just a little tip, okay? With my painting, as you paint along with me, there's a lot of tip, but I don't, you can't tell people, you can't have a tip and then you go watch the tip, but you have to paint along with me because, I have so many tip that is, but you see that, right away you see that leg is in the mid-air, okay? So you have to paint along with me because before I can share my tip with you. Okay, I'm using the same brush now. I'm using the same kind, but a little more blue, a little more like this royal blue mixed with the Payne's gray. And this is how I do. You will see that it comes alive to your eye. Okay, so I'm going to do this. Okay, use the side of the brush. Okay, and follow the line that I will give you. Okay, and you can do this, okay? And what does that do? That is how I like to paint ice. Okay, you can see that? Can you see that? The ice like coming, alive to your eye, but not but be careful that the eyes are not like your V shape that you created down here. You need some long and some short. Don't be too systematically same, okay? Because then it just looks strange, and so make sure you randomize them. I think that's the best way. to say that. Okay, you randomize them, but do you see the coal? Can you feel the coal start coming? I think the royal blue is a very good. So if you don't have, like, you know, these artist watercolor gray, then you will find a blue that's kind of clear, you know, and you can use ultramarine. Okay, that's something that you can, you know, you can just decide for yourself, right? Because you're the artist, and you will just decide what you want it to use, and see if it works. Okay, if you don't have the royal blue or you don't have French ultramarine. Okay, now when it goes in a little bit over there, then I wanted to use the Payne's gray and drop it in here and make it a little bit darker, but still grayish blue. Okay, see that? You can see that it goes in and then soften it. Okay, and then I'm going to do a little bit more so that you guys can have a little chance to do that, and then I might do a little bit of bluish background. We'll see. Okay, we do, you know, we do short in time, but we're always short in time because it's hard to do painting. It's hard to get a painting done in such a short time. Like I always say, you guys take your time, okay? Be sure you think about the, you know, because being fast is not a skill. Well, it is a skill. I guess it is a skill. So I can actually do a little bit faster, but it's not a necessary skill for you right now, okay? But remember the form, remember the shape, remember the line, you know, is more of an important, okay? And also paint the animals, okay? Paint the animals so that you can discipline yourself to be more accurate. You know why? Because you won't be following me all the time, okay? And so one day you are going to, you know, make a lot of painting yourself, and by that, you know, if that was going to happen, then you must be able to observe, you know, the line yourself, okay? And you know, from what I can observe, you guys, even though you copy my drawing, and sometimes you become a little bit forgetful, and not pay attention to, you know, you know, and I, the reason why I bring that up is because I wanted you guys to realize that, because I think that it's not because you don't want to, it's because you don't realize that. And so if I point that out, then you will be able to realize that. Do you see that cold block that they're sending in? They're very, very cold, okay? And so that's what I'm going to do as far as the ice is concerned. And so I point things out to you. Now, I'm going to just, I just have another point that I wanted to just, you know, share with you, okay? I'm going to do a little bit of a background of coldness. And so what I'm going to do is, it's colder than the ice, so I'm going to not mix that ahead of time. I'm going to mix that on the paper, okay? So you see what I'm going to do. The same brush, but I actually can use a more watery brush. Should we do that? Should we go to our lovely happy dot? Okay, let's do with our happy dot. Okay, dip it into the and then I'm gonna slap it down here. Okay, you see that you know what I always say, I just slap down the color. Okay, because strict way for background, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to dilute it. Okay, I'm going to dilute it so you can see that there's a background over here. I always like to do background, but if you like to skip the background, this part, that's fine too, okay? If you don't want to, you know, you're tired, you can come back later, you know, just, yeah, take the time. You can take your time, okay? Let me deal, okay, now I'm doing Payne's gray. See what I'm saying? I'm going to mix it in the background right there, okay? Because, you know, if it is really in the North Pole or Antarctica, there will probably be you can probably see in the distance, there will probably be a icy blue mountain there, okay? But we're not gonna do that in the shortage of time, and it's not necessary for this painting. I think, you know, with the background over here, it will be a suggestion, okay? It will be a suggestion already. Okay, and so since this blue is already in the shadow, in the stomach, it's very, what do you call that? It's very harmonious, I don't have to worry about bringing things in and such. Okay, so you can see that there's a little bit of blue behind it. Okay, now this is so faint that you don't really need to worry about where it's going. Okay, you can just disperse it and just kind of disappear. Okay, and just what it does is just it add on to the coldness of the painting. It's so nice that we can do that, make things cold, right? And so I'm very, very, I'm very, very, kind of determined that, to, make you guys become artists and be able to enjoy things like an artist would, And so I will point out all of my, my skill that is going on in my head, okay? And so that you will know all the technique, you will know, oh, okay, this is something that I don't want to miss, I don't want to do, and then you just work hard and take your time. And some of those things takes a long time to, like I talk about, you guys come from all walks of life, right? I don't know a lot of you, but, if you are brave, you introduce yourself to me, because like I say, I miss you guys during the, the couple of weeks break during the holiday. But then the vibes that I get from you is I think I'm talking to a lot of really good people, a lot of very good and kind and sweet people. And that's the way I feel, when I'm painting along, when I'm talking to you, respectable, good people. And so, I'm very happy, I'm not, so we can, just, I can share things with you, and so you can grab what I give you, and run with it, okay? And run with it. Maybe it's because of the age, our age group, and we can do this kind of thing now, have the time and you like it, then you run with it, okay? I will suggest things. I will, of course, even give you a paper, a drawing, that you can draw along, But I know that some of you have the desire, if you have not already done it already, go on and do different things that you wanted to do. Like this Christmas, I didn't have enough time to do Christmas tree, like a forest. Well, I did do the gnome, right? But not just the tree. And I really want to do just the tree, but times went out, and I really had a lot of fun. But I know that I'm talking, somehow I know that I'm talking to some awesome people here. And so I love to, with all the respect that I can give you, the way I talk to you. And I thought about things like that, because not that I talk to other people not respectfully. We always need to talk to people respectfully, but I know that you guys are hardworking people and you know how to work hard. You know how to be successful. And some of you may be very successful in your discipline, And so I'm very, very happy and very honored, to be able to, talk to you and share these kind of thing. Okay, now remember there's part of his head is over here, right? And so I'm going to use the Payne's Gray and actually help me as a background to show you so you can see the rest of his head. See that? Just that little line right there, bring out the part of his head, right? And so what we call this is the lost and found line, okay? Just a little bit over there, and you will see, you already see his head, right? And you have to agree with me on that. Anyway, so I'm very happy. I'm happy to be with you. I imagine who you are, and you're my friend, and you are good people, you're hardworking people, with your life, and you wanted to learn and have fun with me, and now we're done. I think we are. I did like, now remember, no burn burnt sienna over there, okay? Just on the bottom part, okay? And so that's it. Maybe I should put a little bit over here, okay? Because it's floating, but I need to have some air over there. And so that's our painting today. I push you out a little bit, and Do you guys have fun? I hope you have fun, okay? And I hope when you listen through it, you will take the time to do animals, okay? And we will do more flowers, of course. What is my next one gonna be? Oh yes, it's gonna be a flower because I have a commission that I needed to do, and it's flower, and so I'm gonna, just while I'm painting for the commission, I may as well do a video, and it's the bird of paradise. Actually, I promise you guys things, and sometimes it doesn't come to pass because things have happened, and maybe I have make a video and it didn't turn out very well, and so. But anyway, so this is it. This is what we have today. It's so much fun. It's winter time, and thank you for allowing me to bring the African penguin into the Antarctica. And I will see you in the next painting. Thank you for coming.